Can the girls in the room can raise their hand if you wear makeup or have makeup in your house? Yeah. What about the guys? When you're playing a sport and when you're playing a sport and you pull a muscle, you like to take painkiller for the pain? Yeah. Right. Well, these things you say makeup and painkillers, like why do you have to lie right together? Well, the majority of makeup and pharmaceutics are tested in animals before our consumption of these products. So today, I'm going to explain to you why animal testing should or must be banned worldwide, and hopefully convince you that it is wrong to mistreat animals for our own pleasure. So animal testing is not an unknown topic anymore. Actually, it is one of the most controversial topics in the world right now. And for the ones of you that don't know what animal testing is, it's the use of animals in the scientific field. It is also called animal experimentation or animal research. It works using animals as testers, giving them chemicals to see how they react. And one of the common testers is the rabbit. They put chemicals in their eyes and their skin to see how they react. But what you don't know is the pain that they feel. Just to give you like an example, just imagine you're taking a shower, and then a little drop of soap gets into your eye. What do you feel? Pain, right? It hurts, it burns. Well, imagine that pain like 10 times worse in a little rabbit. It really hurts. So while I was researching for this speech, I found that there are more cons than pros in animal testing. The first con is the issue of pain in the animal. Some factories said that the animal, they don't suffer at all. But how can we be 100% sure? Animals, they don't talk. They cannot communicate, so we don't know if they're in pain or not. Another con that I found is that animal testing is not only in human, but it's also unnecessary. Like animal research for the cosmetic industry, or like in household products. Why are we going to end the life of an animal to look pretty or just to clean the house? It doesn't make sense. But you're thinking like, well, we're testing in animals so the product can be secure for us. Well, this might shock you, but according to the Humane Society of the United States, 92% of drugs that claim to pass the animal trials fail when they're tested in humans. So why end the life of an animal testing products that only have 8% of chances in working humans? The reason why animal testing is not 100% accurate is because the stress that these animals feel in the labs is really high. So that stress makes the result worthless. But let's just talk more about good things, because we're talking like animal death, and that's not cute. So the good news is that every year, millions of dollars are spent worldwide to stop animal testing with new technology. Scientists can determine if the product is safe or not for the humans just by using a computer. Nowadays, it exists computer simulations, which consist in mannequins that have sensors inside, and those sensors are connected to computers. So when they test the product on the mannequin, they can see in the computer if it's safe or not for us, for the humans. And another replacement of animal testing is the human-based testing. It's not like they're going to put you in a lab and they're going to test you, no. It's just, they just use your cells. So if everyone donates cells for this experiment, we can save a lot of life, a lot of animal life. Now you're probably wondering, like what can we do, us and the companies, to at least decrease animal testing? There's this method called the 3 R's by Russell and Burns, which won't stop it completely, but it will decrease it. The 3 R's stand for replacement, which is the use of non-animals instead of animal methods. Reduction, which is the use of less number of animals. And refinement, which refers to less pain caused to animals. And what can we do, like each one of us, to try to stop it, or at least decrease it? We can just stop buying products that are animal tested. Or if you really want to get involved, you can send letters to those companies that test in animals. So in conclusion, now that you know how animals suffer, in animal researchers, I hope you're against it. Of course, there are pros of animal testing, but remember there are thousands of animals that that lose their life for our own pleasures. And remember that animal tests are not 100% accurate. Thank you.
She started at 10, that's what she had left.
5 minutes.
Where's that counting up?
This is where she started, so this is where she ended.
All right, so it started at 0. Okay. Got it. Sorry to interrupt. You were going to do the oral evaluation, so tell us what you thought.
All right. I felt like you were very comfortable up there. You seemed like you knew your topic very well. You didn't do a lot of reading from your cards, which is cool. You had good eye contact. I liked your research and statistics and examples, like with the mannequin. You didn't have to read anything. You knew what it was about, and that was really good. And even though it was short, I thought it was a good speech, and I learned a couple of good things about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
The cheapest one is like 5 something, like 1,000 something. Yeah, they're really good.
Do you have exam on that? What comes with that?
No.
All right, the opening is okay. I do like the way that you're trying to build a little suspense with the subject with the attention device. So that's fine. And you have a very clear statement of what your goal is. I do think you need to have a stronger structure for the speech. You proceed in a fairly logical way, talking about what the issue is. I think you need to develop the notion of animal testing being used, it being overdone. How do we distinguish between the ones that are effective and ineffective? How do we know that until afterwards? I think there's some good arguments about whether or not, especially when it comes to cosmetics, whether or not additional testing is necessary. There are two kinds of testing that go on. There's safety testing, which is the stuff where we're trying to figure out whether or not something injures us or it's going to poison us or something along those lines, and we're using animals for that. And then there's efficacy testing, which is whether or not the medication, for instance, that's being developed actually works. And I don't know which your statistic is talking about, the safety issue or the efficacy issue. So I think that the one statistic that you have that mentions that only 8% of the tests go on to success in humans, I don't know which type of testing that's talking about, but if it's safety testing, for instance, then that sounds like it's pretty important because it would be protecting a lot of people. If it's efficacy testing, it might be less important. Your solution at the end seems to be only partially thought out. I like the idea of the 3 R's. That could be developed a little bit more. What could scientists and researchers and people who are in positions to do research do to address these kinds of issues that they aren't already doing? And that's one of the things that I think you need to show us, is that these alternatives are available, but they're not being used appropriately. On the individual point, I don't know that any of us would be able to tell what products were tested on animals or weren't. For instance, you talked about pain relief. Well, how am I going to know if I go to my medicine cabinet whether or not the aspirin that I'm taking or the Tylenol or the Advil or whatever? That just seems, like it's an afterthought as a way of addressing that issue. Excuse me. On presentation issues, I think your voice is very enthusiastic, and generally you have good eye contact. Sometimes I think your gestures, you look a little loosey-goosey up there. You're kind of back and forth and waving around. And I know you're trying to remain comfortable while you're speaking, but you also want to be in a little bit more control. And as Ryan has already pointed out, it's a little